And now let me welcome here Ms. Ranjan Amin from United Kingdom, who will give us a presentation which is called A Culture of Health. Ms. Ranjan Amin, the floor is yours. Would you like to present your presentation directly now?
Hello, Om Shanti and Namaste. Lovely to be present at this World Congress, and hello to everyone. I'm Ranjan, as the moderator has just said, and I'm a practitioner of Raj Yoga meditation, a teacher and a student of 35 years within Brahma Kumaris, based in London. And these are ancient practices that we have been practicing in the 21st century. They have definitely helped us in many, many ways. Most of our senior teachers have been practicing 80 to 90 years, and they are living health, wealth, and happiness, which we really need to embrace and bring into our present world. And that can be our future world, a culture of health. A culture of health existed in the ancient systems of practice, and they do hold solutions for us for our present day. And this will lead us into a future where diseases would be absent. The ancient systems were a culture of health, like the practices in Satyug and the Harappan Indus civilization. Now, these were based on daily meditation reflective practices. And Satyuga, yuga means the time period that we lived in. And Sat is the truth, the transparency of truth that I lived in my everyday life. Now, these practices are coming from meditation or inner reflection, a deep sense of connection with mind, body, and spirit. The spiritual practice was the highest vibration that they had as a form of communication. So disease was unknown. They only knew health, wealth, and happiness. Negativity didn't exist in their minds. And that comes from a daily practice of very high positive level of thoughts, of positive feelings and vibrations that accumulate over time, the inner peace that is inside each and every person. These ancient systems where souls exist, people existed, they lived long and healthy lives based on embracing purity of thought, pure feelings, pure intention, and they were at one with nature. This is the difference. In today's world, we lack this harmony with nature and harmony within our own inner self, where the lives evolved around harmony, togetherness, and a heightened awareness of one family. And COVID has shown us that we really do need to become closer worldwide as a one family, thinking similar thoughts, thoughts that are filled with a higher rate of vibration where negative or waste thoughts don't exist. Now, this comes about with a very simple practice that I'm going to take you through today. So the first thing we're going to look at is that in the Raj Yoga meditation that's taught within Brahma Kumaris, we focus on the mind, and the mind generates thoughts, thinking, and responses. So when I'm creating thoughts on an everyday level, we're not thinking whether they're positive or they're filled with fear or anxiety. And yet, in a subtle way, we're aware of the vibration of these thoughts. So when I'm thinking about something and I've generated the thought, I need to really focus on the responses that I'm going to get. That response comes in words and actions. And the response is either filled with emotions and feelings, or I can keep them very steady, calm, and peaceful. So our whole aim is to be calm, and peaceful. And so when I go into action with my thoughts, so for instance, somebody spoke to me this morning and they were a little bit offhand. But I didn't focus on that. I focused on how lovely and what a good personality they have. And so the response I gave was very different to one if I would have said, oh, why are they so aggressive, or why are they being so silly? So each time we are creating thoughts, we create karma, either within past karma or present or a future karma. So my each response, and karma means a response of, like Newton's law. You throw a ball up into the air, it is going to come back to you at some point, either immediate or at some point in time. So thinking of that state of mind and how I'm responding each and every situation will require some level of practice. And yet we have a natural awareness. Every human being has a natural awareness of well-being. It's a natural process. And that awareness of who I am, my self-worth and my self-respect, the greater I go inwards to my sacred space inside the mind, then I'm able to keep that calmness, that stillness, and that self-worth and respect that I'm looking for. And as I do that, I continue to produce positive thoughts, as opposed to thoughts that generate waste or negativity or some feeling of anxiety or fear. I'm now beginning to generate thoughts that are filled with solution, either in the form of a right contribution to a connection that I'm making with a person, or it might be the right kind of feeling that I have that is appropriate for that situation. So we work from a platform that creates peace. Now, each human being will have this peace within them. It is there, as I said, within the mind, within the intellect, and within our character. We call that sanskaras. Now, mind, intellect, and sanskaras are very subtle, and they have very subtle vibration. So when I move from fear to a feeling of well-being and peace, inner calmness, then I will begin to change a process, just like night and day, this very natural process that's within each human being to create a healthy lifestyle. There's many research papers available that show that positivity and pure intention raise immunity. They reduce your stress levels, and they increase greater relaxation. And a meta-analysis done by Ramesh et al. In 2013, Kida and Steptoe 2008, and Dr. Herbert Benson et al. Have all had revealed findings that they were all their research papers on positive states of mind, psychological states that were a high level of positivity, produced happiness and higher level of self-worth. They found that it reduced the rates of mortality, and they had much better physical health and a much better state of mind that we can say is part of well-being. These techniques are of relaxation. So when we go inwards, we meditate, or we do reflection, or we have just quiet moments, they enhance our immune system in a way the Western world doesn't understand. But in Raj Yoga meditation, we are aware that these practices are very, very useful and beneficial for each and every person, whether they are young, old, they're business people, whoever they may be, wherever they may live, whatever language, whatever religion they may be. You can still practice this meditation. We have over 1 million people around the world who are practicing this meditation, who have long life, who have been having very good health. They've come from very poor health before meditation, and we can see the difference. We have a hospital up in Mount Abu, Rajasthan, Global Hospital for a Better World. And there we see reflections where people have had severe cardiac attacks, people with high levels of diabetes 2, and they've practiced the meditation. They've had vegetarian diets, which was not their normal. And over a period of 3 months, we see the changes. So daily practice and awareness of reflection of Raja Yoga meditation increases that inner calmness, that inner stillness and self-discipline. And so as I start a foundation of just beginning to understand, I am a being seated in the center of the forehead, that I do have inner space, a sacred space inside myself, then I start to support myself with a caring, loving, and compassionate attitude towards my own self and others. So one of the things we find today is very low level of self-worth. And so the first daily practice I would like all of you to do or take away from this conference is to uplift yourself through your own thoughts. Maintain a high level of positivity. Whenever there's self-doubt, bring about confirmation of how good actions that you have done. So be generous-hearted and find inner peace and move away from anxiety and anger. And as I do these steps, I take time to develop values that are uplifting for the self and others simultaneously. So these values create abundance. They revive my senses, my hearing, my seeing, and my feeling with the abundance of compassion, of pure love and peace. And as I create an attitude to bring happiness to the self and others, even if it's just a smile, it'll make a difference. So engage in a relaxation and a technique that allows you to have quiet time and develop a foundation of strength and wisdom. A healthier future means I have to invest time and energy in my own self. When I do that, when I take that time, I will be able to connect with others. So it is free. This course of meditation is available online. It's available anywhere in the world, in all of our centers. And you can just practice with me. If you're free, I am too. It doesn't cost anything. So if we develop a culture, just develop a culture of self-healing, then I need to practice this Raja Yoga meditation or any form of reflection or prayer. But here I'm using Raja Yoga meditation. It increases calmness. Now, calmness is really required in today's chaotic world. We need a bit of stillness, self-discipline. So this meditation, you can start at 6 a.m. in the morning for 5-10 minutes, and it will make a big difference, as it has in my own life. So peace is the foundation for maintaining just all of that area of love, compassion, pure thought, and wisdom. And your diseases will come to be reduced. Aches and pains disappear because my whole focus is on healing my inner self. And I'm starting with my thoughts in the mind. This is accessible for everyone, and you can sit quietly, from school children to elderly and business. And as I said, we were going to practice some meditation now. So sorry, it keeps changing and skipping. So you just simply sit quietly for a few moments. And wherever you are now, if you just focus on anywhere in the room, just leave your eyes open, go inwards to the center of the forehead, to the sacred space. And as you sit in that sacred space, I allow the thoughts to pass me by. Just keep very still and quiet. And we'll go through a practice of thoughts of peace. Peace was my original religion. Peace is the original, eternal form of each soul of each human being. I am peace. I love peace. I share peace with all my loved ones, my friends and family. I share peace with all the souls of the world, all the people around the world. I send them peace, good wishes. I share peace with nature so that I am more aligned and in harmony. And I share peace with the whole world. And the vibrations that I'm sending with these thoughts will fill each one with these good wishes. And for a few moments, I stay in this sacred space, safe and protected. And slowly, I return to where I'm sitting here in this room, feeling refreshed. So it's as simple as that. Making thoughts happen for yourself is important. Keeping positive states, keeping a higher level of awareness of who you are. Make it happen. Make it happen so that we can all make this world healthy, wealthy, and happy. And make it happen so that we can all enjoy a long life, disease-free. And it was in existence before. And we have to make it happen so that it happens today. So let's focus and take this practice with us of meditation, of inner reflection. Om Shanti and Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ranjan Amin, for your calm and beautiful presentation and for a practical example that showed us how to, in these times of anxiety and fear, build and keep a little bit of peace in our surroundings and in this world. Thank you very much for that. Because the next presentation was supposed to be Dr. Snehal Shivajifunde and a preliminary study to understand the microbial composition of fresh Panchagavya preparation from India. But since Dr. Snehal Funde didn't, we are not in connection with her and she doesn't seem to participate in this session. We've got also a few questions from our listeners, Ms. Ranjan Amin, and we've got still some time.
Happy to answer them. Yes, very happy to answer them.
So the first question from a listener or viewer on YouTube was, what in your view is the greatest benefit of yoga and how did yoga influence your life? You said some of it, but if you can just quickly sum up on.
Yes. Before I started Raja Yoga meditation, I didn't know what Raja Yoga was or anything about yoga. I had no clarity. I was 30 years ago. I was a lecturer at university, highly stressed. I was a very senior lecturer teaching marketing and management. And so I was a business person, caught up in the anxieties of everyday living with many men who were all lecturers, senior, much more senior than I was. I just got my MBA. I was the first woman in England to get an MBA in the 80s. And, it was all about position. It was about getting on with the men. Even if I was a female, I used my female what's the charisma to my own character, which was always just gelling in with everyone. So I had no concept of all of the things I have just explained today. And I lived in a very stressful, full of anxiety and fear, because I had just split with my family, with my husband, and we were trying to make things happen for each other. We wanted to be together, but our families were separating us, and had a little baby. So you can imagine, I was in complete chaos. I had no way or anyone guiding me at the time, except my father used to say to me, always have, belief in yourself. Believe what you're doing is right. And if you doubt it, ask somebody else's opinion. So for me, yoga has when I came across Raj Yoga meditation, immediately a sense of inner calm, complete inner peace. And all of a sudden, over a period of maybe 3-4 days, I could see that I lived in a really anxious world. I had a lot of tension and my back and shoulders were hurting. Within 2-3 days, I felt relaxation. I was practicing half an hour at 6 o'clock and finishing at 6:30, getting ready for work and then leaving at 8. And we always were vegetarian in our family, so there was no problem with the vegetarian diet. And we were fairly healthy. But as I said, there is always this other subconscious, unconscious level where there's anxiety, fear, sadness, emotions of relationships that are not working or working, things that are you're stretched at work to cover other people. Couple of people at that time died within my faculty, and I was having to take over a person who was a psychologist, another person who was teaching economics, and they were not really my subjects. But through this meditation practice, 3-4 times a day, and even at work, one of my senior teachers here, Sister Jayanti, she also comes on this program every year, but this year she was away in Italy. She said to me, Ranjan, your life is worth living when you fill it with joy, contentment, and happiness. Is that there in your life? And I said, no, it's not there. And she said, well, there's a possibility now that you can make this happen in your life. And I said, yes, I want to do that. She said, spend 4 a.m. meditation to 4:45. This is called Amrit Vela. It's a period of time when each human being can connect very, very deeply with the inner self, with the spiritual being that is inside this body that's sitting here. And the mind, body, and spirit are in this spiritual being, the being that I am. And the body is separate. So once I learned that I can help the healing process through focusing on being my original eternal self, the being of light, with the mind and intellect becoming more and more calmer, then that is the yoga. The yoga, which is focus inwards, that was able to happen. And so as that started to happen, so as I started to have a spiritual awareness and changing my thoughts to some took a long time to change, especially when it concerns relationship. But as I started to change my vision, my thoughts changed my vision. and change my feelings to a feelings of positivity, vision of positivity, that things can work out as I need them. And that started to improve my health, and it started to remove the fears and doubts I had. I hope that helps you. So I'm seeing a very different person of myself today. And I can tell you, if I'd gone 30 years back, I probably wouldn't be able to do this kind of program with such ease and such happiness and compassion. I would have been devastated even to do a meditation online. Anyway, I hope that helps you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much for your life story and an example, and for the answer. We still got a few minutes left because of the missing previous presenter. I got another question. Would it bother you to answer the next one too?
Fine. Yes, it's fine.
The question is from YouTube. Could it be dangerous to practice pranayama?
Is it dangerous to practice?
Pranayama.
Okay, so, I'm not sure if you've ever practiced pranayama. It's quite a simple technique. If you have been trained by a yoga teacher, you're not likely to find any danger there. But start very simple. If you're watching Google and watching a video on YouTube, and you found it on Google, then just be careful how you practice. Pranayama is not a technique that can do harm. It is a technique done to help your inner body. There are very subtle energies within the body itself. And part of that subtle energy is what we call breath, breathing. So prana is the air that is flowing, that prana is life itself, the energy that flows inside the body. And pranayama is a practice that is done to improve that air, the breathing, the life, that is the life source that is within the body. So I hope it's helped you, the answer, that it is a very gentle practice, but it is a very, very subtle inner practice. And you should do it with a qualified teacher and not just watch it on a video, because each individual is different, and each individual has a different capacity to do pranayama. So work with a qualified yoga teacher. That's what I would say. Thank you for your question.
And let me thank you for your answer, very kind one, and yeah, very enlightening one. Thank you very much for your presentations. And unfortunately, another speaker who was supposed to speak after Dr. Snehal also couldn't reach this conference. I don't want to keep you or bother you with more questions.
No, but I'm very happy to stay if you need me to, because I was going to watch the next part of the Hall 1, the main speakers. So I'm very happy to help you in any way I can.
You've already helped us a lot. Thank you. If you want to continue watching Hall 1 with other presentations, let me ask you, maybe I've got a recording of your presentation which was supposed to be played in case you wouldn't be able to connect us. Do you think that I might play it now, maybe as a repetition for what you said? Because we've got another 15 minutes, so I can use your pre-recorded presentation now.
Yes, by all means. Or if you would like me to explain any other questions, have you any other questions? Or
no,
you want me to explain
not yet.
anything?
These were the 3 that arrived.
Yeah,
and obviously, they were satisfactorily answered because there are no other sub-questions underneath that. Mr. Ranjan Amin, you were a great help to us. You calmed us. You showed us a practical example how to get calmer in this crazy world. Thank you very much for that. It was very helpful.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
now,
for all the lovely questions as well. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
and now, with your permission, I will play the presentation that you sent us. Yeah?
Yes, do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask you to end the screen, share screen presentation? That's perfect. Thank you very much. Now I can play what you sent us.
Okay.
So our
Should we
regards
get to hall 1 or do I stay here?
You can stay, it's up to you. You can go to hall 1, it's up to you.
Okay.
It's just the moderator of the connection who can direct you, or you can follow on YouTube, yeah, the hall 1. I can't do it from my place.
No, okay.
But I will play your presentation now, yeah? Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Hello to all my fellow colleagues and honourable guests. Culture of health. There was a period of time when the culture within all human beings who were in that period, known as Satyug, were divine beings. They did not know any form of disease. That period of time was called Satyug. They knew only of good health all year round, all the time, eternally for them. They knew that disease didn't exist, but they knew that harmony, happiness, peace, love, light, dignity, respect was present. Harmony and togetherness were probably the greater part of their lifestyle. Their diets were very clean, and they knew only good health, wealth, and happiness. These three existed in their life. They knew harmony. They knew how to be together in relationships, and conflict was not in existence in their thinking. So this period of time evolved, and perhaps this is our future. And as we create a culture of health where we can also experience that, and I know there are many researches taking place that show positive thinking improves immunity, that psychological well-being is at a much higher level when there is a generated thoughts of good wishes, of pure feelings, of pure intention. And so these are the basis on which we are going to look at today of how a culture of health is being created already by 1 million people who are practicing Raja Yoga meditation within Brahma Kumaris. So the areas that they are developing and have been developing for over the last 70, 80 years has been the focus inside. The focus is inside the self, knowing who I am and creating that awareness of self. And when I start on that journey of knowing the self and moving towards that, I then am able to create a very refined way of thinking, a level of thinking and speaking and having an attitude that is more to do with self and others simultaneously, that allows good feeling. Even when there is chaos, even when there is irritation, disharmony, insult, then I can still manage those in a way that I would not be able to if I didn't have the understanding of the self. The self is a being, a divine being that sits in the center of the forehead behind the eyes. And that being is known as soul, energy. It is beyond gender, religion, age. And this kind of knowledge allows me to retrain, connect to my original self that had these qualities of higher potential, a potential that is so great that is able to allow me good health all year round, eternally. It's possible. It is possible. We live longer, but to live longer, I need to be able to manage my own health. And if I'm able to manage my own health and able to make decisions of how to move that health forward through my thoughts, through taking care of mind, body, intellect, heart, and taking care of this body through diet and exercise, then all of that holistic approach will impact my immunity and reach the highest potential within the self. And that potential is within the soul, every person, every being. And so first I start, I am peaceful being. And just that generation of one single thought allows me to feel a different kind of energy. That allows me to bring about greater positivity. Peace is my original eternal characteristic. And if I maintain and sustain that in every thought, word, action, relationship, attitude, I will be able to change how I am towards others, how I think about others, and how they will be responding to me. And in doing so, I will be starting that journey of good wishes and pure feelings, positive thoughts. That energy is vibrating very subtly inside. I'm sending it not just to my inner self, but throughout the whole body. And as the body starts to vibrate the energy of goodness, of kindness, of courage, of peace, of love, my whole way of thinking is changing. But inside, there's a whole wave of healing, nourishing, repairing, of rebuilding. And that togetherness is being formed, a harmony where there's been disconnect. Now there's connection, where the connection of I, the being, was not that present. It was dormant. Now I've awakened it. And that awakened energy of being a divine being allows me then to interact with others in the same way. So simultaneously, as I generate the thought of I am peace, it is with the self and others simultaneously. The vibration reaches outwards, upwards, and through nature and to all other souls. And that energy, within Brahma Kumaris, we have a World Meditation Hour every third Sunday. And it's at 6:30 to 7:30 throughout the world in their local time. And that is the time we can feel that energy of vibration, of where a culture of health can be developed. Because the good wishes and pure feelings we're sending out through our very pure intention, an intention that is loving, an intention that is caring, an intention that has consideration for all. That good wishes heals those around us, heals nature, heals the self. And so the process of first knowing myself, understanding how my heart, mind, intellect work, and how emotions have already imprinted that are negative, and I can change those imprinted negative states to a positive, pure, and a way to move forward and resolve issues and have solutions for the future or any single day that I'm working. And so the mindset is slowly understanding the awareness of who I am, how I am. I'm helping that to go forward and creating that platform of culture of health through Raj Yoga meditation as is being taught within Brahma Kumaris. And the first aspect of that is self-awareness. Who am I? And as I understand who am I am able to go further deep inside of who I am, where I am going, and who I'm going with, and who is it that's looking after me. And so divine being is connecting to the self, connecting to the divine being up above, a parent that takes care of all souls, of all beings, with pure love, with pure intention. And so I start to develop those also. And this is the first step towards that culture of health. And the second step will be, of course, there's diet and there's exercise and there's vegetarian diets are important, how I eat, when I eat, all of that. But the second step is having that good wishes and pure feelings inside oneself. So whenever there's animosity or insults or frustration, I'm using those good wishes to dissolve that feeling, dissolve those negative states. And as I learn to dissolve those with this energy that I'm creating, then that energy is imprinting within the self, imprinting on my nervous system and healing, imprinting it on my food as I'm eating the food. So I'm creating a pure vibration with my looking at the food, eating it, and also through that generation of good wishes and pure feelings for who I am. And as we go forward into the next stage, is the practice. I need to practice, just like good tennis players, good doctors who reach their highest potential. So if I want to reach my highest potential, then I need to practice. And so we have early morning, which is probably the best time for meditation, for a quiet stillness, calmness, that foundation of focus. And at night time, just cleaning away all of the thoughts so that I have got a nice clean slate to go to sleep on. So morning meditation, evening meditation before going to bed. And then throughout the day, we have 1 hour, we call them traffic lights or traffic control. Just like the car has to stop at traffic lights, and you have to stop when it's on red. And so we stop the level of thoughts that's being generated in the mind and depleting energy. We reduce that every, say, 1 minute in the hour. Every 1 hour for 1 or 2 minutes, we have this traffic control where we sit quietly and go inwards and reconnect with being, with the being. I am this being, pure light within the self that's filled with peace, that's filled with love, filled with calmness. And so that's the second practice. And the third practice is donation, constantly giving good wishes. Even if somebody's very angry with me, if I give good wishes, doesn't do, try it for yourself and you'll see that the whole interaction changes. Your focus will be very different. And if there's so much heat in their anger, move away. This is something I have to learn to do so that I am protecting that health journey that I'm creating. The health of my own being has to be protected. And sometimes it is necessary just to walk away and then reconnect with that person at a later time and resolve the issue. And it starts from the platform of good wishes and pure feelings. And we've seen that Creswell, in his research, there's many in my report that I refer to, but Creswell in 2017 showed the connection between positive states of mind and meditation and relaxation, and how that impacts on the immune system, healing the self. So we do have our natural health system within the soul, I, the being, and I can create that health, wealth, happiness inside the self. And so I would like us to spend a few moments just to experience the meditation. Sitting quietly, I turn my thoughts inwards. I send that vibration of peace to the self as I go in to my sacred space, filled with love and light. I begin the journey of culture that creates health, wealth, happiness, joy, contentment, courage. I sit quietly and calmness is spreading throughout the self, and too the vibration is reaching all people. And slowly I return to where I'm sitting here in this conference hall. Om Shanti. So it's as easy as that. Thank you.
And let me thank you one more time, Ms. Ranjan Amin, for both her oral spoken presentation and for the recording that she sent us so that we could repeat the important points that she highlighted in her presentation. Thank you very much one more time.